let's talk about SBMM and MMR. But I want to make sure that y'all are in your seats and you've got your seatbelts on. I need y'all to make sure that y'all got your seat backs and your tray tables up in the upright and locked positions, because I promise y'all one thing, this is going to be a bumpy ride filled with some harsh truths for people who have like the biggest problems with the skill-based matchmaking right now. Because trust me, I've seen the complaints throughout Reddit, social medias, Twitch chats, like the killers at the top are going to be running mostly Nurse, Blight, and Spirit. But like, weren't they already kind of doing that to an extent? Right? Like people are like, oh, well, now all killers are going to be using meta perks or running Ruin, Undying, Tinkerer while tunneling and camping. But like, hasn't that already been happening, at least like at the highest level? Right? Or are you guys just seeing more of the same thing while maybe not possibly getting those random survivors to carry you in what would have been the old red ranks? Because we're all living our best lives together because solo queue MMR experience is the best that it's ever been in DBD. Hey, what it do, it's ya boy Q, and welcome back to YouTube Fog Dwellers. Look, so after the last video with the runaways that we put out on the channel, I said I wanted to do like an overall thoughts video on like MMR, the new skill-based matchmaking that has recently been implemented into Dead by Daylight. But before I do, I just wanted to remind y'all, or if maybe this is the first video of mine that you've ever caught, if you want to know specifically my thoughts on how MMR and skill-based matchmaking affect as far as solo queue or as swifting, like how that experience is, I do have two separate videos here. And over the course of this video too, we're going to mention some like common playstyles and like perk choices for both killers and survivors. But like, I don't want this to seem like it's trying to call out anybody for like how they play the game. It's just really like an easy descriptor based off of like some terms that people in the community use. At the end of the day, if you want my honest opinion, it's a video game. You play video games to have fun, so you should play the video game the way that you have fun. Obviously, there are multiple people involved in the game, so I do think there should be some consideration in the fact that is everybody having fun, but obviously I get that a lot of people are going to put themselves first. Cool? We got that covered? All right, cool. If you do enjoy the content, though, if you could do me a huge favor, it'd really help me out if you could not only hit that like button, but leave a comment as well. As a new content creator, going to help us out with that YouTube algorithm and get our content in front of more people. And to those of y'all who've been rocking with your boy who have already hit that subscribe button, we're almost to that end of year goal of 500 subs, or at least we're almost halfway there. We're almost to that 250. So I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn those notifications, man. It really mean a lot to me. It really would. But let's actually get to the real reason that y'all clicked on the video. Right? Let's talk about SBMM and MMR. But I want to make sure that y'all are in your seats and you've got your seatbelts on. I need y'all to make sure that y'all got your seat backs and your tray tables up in the upright and locked positions, because I promise y'all one thing, this is going to be a bumpy ride filled with some harsh truths for people who have like the biggest problems with the skill-based matchmaking right now. Because trust me, I've seen the complaints throughout Reddit, social medias, Twitch chats, like the killers at the top are going to be running mostly Nurse, Blight, and Spirit. But like, weren't they already kind of doing that to an extent? Right? Like people are like, oh, well, now all killers are going to be using meta perks or running Ruin, Undying, Tinkerer while tunneling and camping. But like, hasn't that already been happening, at least like at the highest level? Right? Or are you guys just seeing more of the same thing while maybe not possibly getting those random survivors to carry you in what would have been the old red ranks? Because we're all living our best lives together because solo queue MMR experience is the best that it's ever been in DBD. And I'm only half kidding on that. But we'll actually revisit that point in a minute here. Because, like, let's be honest, there's still like going to be this point in Dead by Daylight where people are still going to be tunneling out survivors. There are still going to be people that are going to be camping to secure hook states and sacrifices. It's, believe it or not, it's actually a strategy that can be countered as long as you aren't going down like the first 5 seconds that you're in your first chase at the trial. And yeah, like killers at the higher level or higher MMR, whatever you want to call it, and matchmaking are still going to be running predominantly meta perks. But like, again, let's be fair and honest. Y'all survivors love to run like DS with Unbreakable and BT and Iron Will. So I don't see where we really get off complaining about killer perks, like real spill. And look, I know I love to have fun talking about some of the same things while I'm live on stream, but that's just to kind of fill airspace, really, and like kind of have fun with the chat. But some people actually take this stuff way too serious and go way too far, going to endgame lobbies complaining about perks and stuff, and it's weird. Stop that. Like, remember that each trial it's essentially a giant game of tug of war, right? And while tunneling a survivor out or slugging survivors can easily swing things in the favor for the killer, if you've been through our streams over on Twitch, which of course link is always linked in the down in the description below, we've faced some pretty tough situations like that. But if you keep your cool and you make some smart decisions, you can overcome and actually reverse the pressure and return it the opposite way. And like with that being said, like a collection of early mistakes by the survivor team, like as a whole, even if a single survivor plays like a perfect game, if the other 3 make a whole bunch of critical mistakes very, very early, it can make a very fast spiral for the killer, ending in a 4K. And as we talked about in one of our videos on this channel about how, you guys can help change the culture of the community, a lot of the times us survivors, what we do is we fail to hold ourselves accountable or hold our teammates accountable for their mistakes while solely trying to put them on the killer and why we didn't have fun in that trial. Like, it's okay to admit that you aren't in the top percentage or like the top echelon like of gamers, right? I know like obviously I have a really good grasp of DBD and like a good grasp of the core concept, but I don't even think I would put myself in that category. And it's okay. But like if you look at the old system, right, the old 1 through 20 or 20 through 1, however you want to look at it, it allowed too much variation of gaming at multiple levels, really, because there was not a skill-based matchmaking. And I think that really overall like affected the play experience for everyone, but particularly for your loyal fan base who plays a lot on a very consistent basis. So if you find yourself struggling a little bit since the change in SBMM, realistically, you have 2 choices. You can continue to play the game the way that you want to play the game and have fun and play the game the way that it suits your play style and embrace the chance that you're going to have fun playing that game once your MMR adjusts, or just embrace the fact that you have room to get better at the game and enjoy the journey. Like, not to brag, we got quite a few videos on this channel that can help survivors out. Feel free to look around, but like learning is just part of the process. And sometimes it's actually cool. Like even for me now, looking back earlier this year when I was getting frustrated in loops, like I can look back and see like how much I've progressed in chase. It's actually really, really cool. And I understand there's probably some people looking at this video right now and they're like, but Q, what does this have to do with the new MMR system? Look, I get it. Let's get down to it. You got to understand that the new MMR, it's designed to make the game feel close or like feel balanced or feel like fair, right? Like we've talked about in previous videos about MMR that like right now, even though they might feel sweaty, like games are fair. Some games are like, might be a different decision and they might be 1Ks or no Ks or 4Ks, but for the most part, we're seeing like 2 to 3Ks. We're seeing like, 6 to 9 hooks. We're seeing it where critical decisions that are being made by either the killer or the survivors are being the difference between what could have been a 4K and making it only a 2K, or what could have been a 4K or 4 escape and making it a 2 escape. Like a lot of our games, they've ended well. Like sure, yeah, there are some games where we're getting smacked with getting 12 hooks at 4 gens, and there are those rare instances where we get 4 escapes at just 2 hooks, and again, that's okay. I think it's super healthy for the game to have kind of some of those outliers, because it kind of makes those normal games feel really good. Like sometimes you have to go through the struggle for the good to feel good. You know what I mean? And like to be perfectly transparent, like obviously my thoughts are obviously based off of my own personal experience, and that's coming from someone who used to always queue in this game, would queue at the old rank 1. I'd get to rank 1 quickly after reset. And And I would say that as far as with the new skill-based matchmaking, it definitely does seem that like some of the biggest complaints are more from the killer mains, which I can understand because the old like matchmaking system really allowed for such a wide range of skilled players to be paired together. And like that's why you would see a lot of killer mains, they would be able to quickly write off a game of being Swifts if they didn't get the 4K right away, because like the solo experience, like honestly the solo experience now is so much better, which means now the developers can find time to like really find the balance of things. And you know, like there are killers who were doing really good before that feel like they're not doing good now, but if you sit and like watch their content and watch their streams when they're live, like they're still getting like 6 to 9 hooks and like 1 to 3 Ks. It's just they haven't either adjusted their playstyle or they're waiting for their MMR to balance all. And like I get it, like let's not act like we all don't take video games and kind of take that to break away from the stress of the day, right? So I understand that everybody wants to take the time and like they would love to just win all of their games, but I think that's where we kind of got to circle back to. I think if we adjust to like kind of adjust in our mind what we consider like a win condition to be when loading into a trial, it kind of really helps with the mental side of the game, which I think is what a lot of people are having the hardest time dealing with when it comes with the new SBMM. I know sometimes even as a survivor, like if you're chosen to be the one that gets tunneled out, and we've definitely seen that a lot. I mean, death by TTV is a real thing in this environment. Like it's your job to like play super safe and play passive and prolong those chases as long as possible. That way the rest of your teammates can get some generators done. Yeah, maybe you get tunneled out on 3 straight hooks, but if you're doing your job, 3, 4, maybe 5 gens are getting done in that time. That way the rest of your survivors have a shot. And then at that point, you've done your job and you've actually won. Maybe you didn't escape, but you've won. And again, that's where it all kind of comes down to like that mental part, I think, that like people really got to get down to, because we've got to stop letting a cartoon number on a game dictate your worth, you know? Like most importantly, like just remember to play video games and have fun. Don't worry about like a cartoon number or a rank. But I'm really interested to know like what are your experiences that you've had? Because I know obviously it's going to be different based off of different like what you're queuing with, whether it's a Swift, whether it's 2 people, 3 people by yourself, whether you're used to queuing red ranks, green ranks, purple ranks. Let me know down in those comments. I want to know, because again, I think that the Dead by Daylight, they've done a really good job with this matchmaking, but I want to have some like actual conversations about it, not just complaining because we're sweating a lot, but like, do that games actually feel fair? Do you feel like you have a chance to win in a majority of your trials? Again, feel free to let me know down below. Cool. Because I think one of the important things to know is that like if we want DBD to continue to grow and can like maintain longevity, like if we as a player base, if we really enjoy the game, like it's important that the new player experience be like almost just as good as like the veteran player experience as well. And I think this new matchmaking seems to do that. So let the new players like cut their teeth, so to say, before throwing them to the wolves the way the old system used to. Because like, look, we can sit here and act like games like this VHS game that's coming out is going to come along and put pressure on DBD, but it won't. But honestly, that's okay, because DBD seems to be going in a really healthy direction if we're being really fair and honest. Like from reading from the notes, like seeing how it's been putting emphasis on wanting to see how balance looks at like high-end experience and making high-end experiencing like the high-end like MMR matchmaking feeling good, balancing perks for those high levels as well. Like it makes me think that they're really considering on pushing a competitive scene. And I think that would be huge for the game as well as the community. But that's a whole topic for a different day, because we've already gone way too long here. So if that's something you're looking forward to, definitely do me a favor. Make sure you've got that subscribe button hit. Turn those notifications turned on so we can catch you back when we get to that one. And if you did enjoy the content, again, leave a like and a comment. All that good old YouTube algorithm stuff. It truly does mean a lot to me. But until the next video, or until we catch you over on our stream, for real, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. It's your boy Q, signing out.
If you ain't show something, you just don't wanna be. You wanna be me, but you will never be as fresh as see you in.